Good evening.
I'd like to go ahead and call to order the monthly Richland County Recreation Commission monthly meeting for May 19th, 2025. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Do we have any other commissioners on the phone right now?
He is not called in yet.
Okay, and I think Commissioner Anderson's got traffic that he's dealing with. So anyway, next item is motion to approve the minutes from the April 21st, 2025 regular board meeting and the May 1st, 2025 special called meeting.
I'll make a motion to adopt the minutes from the meeting April 21st, 2025, the regular board meeting, and May 1st, 2025, the special call board meeting.
Second.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey.
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, so now we're at public input. This is required to be signed up by 3 p.m. May 19th. Do we have anybody signed up for tonight?
Yes, we have 3 individuals signed up for tonight.
Perfect.
When your name is called, please come to the podium. You will be given 2 minutes to speak, and there will be a timer to notify you that your time has ended. Trip Roche.
Good evening, commissioners. My name is Trip Roach. I'm 19 years old and I'm a rising sophomore student at Midlands Tech and the founder of Carolina Pong, a local table tennis club here in Columbia, South Carolina. Since our launch, Carolina Pong has grown rapidly and we're incredibly grateful to call Richland County Recreation Commission home and would like to thank y'all for all of the support, especially allowing us to use St. Andrews Park. People like Lisa Hutcherson with the foundation and Scott Powers with Experience Columbia SC Sports have been pivotal to our success. In less than a year, we've hosted numerous community events, including bringing back the South Carolina State Championships to St. Andrews Park for the first time in over 30 years. That event alone brought in over 80 players from all over the Southeast to St. Andrews Park in Columbia, South Carolina, and earned us the number 10 ranking nationally out of more than 300 clubs in the United States. Just this past weekend, we had our second sanctioned tournament ever, welcoming over 60 players, including international talent like the national champion of Romania and Trinidad. Our club plays every Monday and Saturday, and our mission is to build community through table tennis and make Columbia the table tennis capital of the Southeast. Outside of the club, I'm the 5th generation of my family's restaurant, Villa Tronco, and serve as a page for the House Speaker, Myrtle Smith. This past legislative session, with the support of Representatives Seth Rose and Heather Bauer, along with the entire Richland County delegation, we passed a resolution making April 23rd Table Tennis in South Carolina Day. Looking ahead, our goal is to host 4 quarterly tournaments a year. What makes our event special is that we return nearly 100% of the entry fees back to the players as prize money, which draws serious talent and visitors from all over the country. These tournaments generate real hospitality revenue, filling hotel rooms and restaurants across Richland County. So tonight, we're asking if it's possible to use St. Andrews Park, where we play at, as a free venue for our 4 quarterly tournaments each year. Doing so would help us continue bringing these events to Richland County and people that they attract, to our community, and more importantly, to RCRC. Thank you for so much of your continued support. Columbia is rising as the home of table tennis in Southeast, and we're just getting started. Thank you.
Trip. Quick question, and congratulations on you guys being ranked number 10 in the nation. Do you all charge people to come to these events? And secondly, I don't know whether you know it right off the top of your head, but what is the, I guess, approximate revenue amount that you guys take in at these different events?
So on Mondays, we have it set up as an instructor contract, and we do $8 per person. And that's on Monday night. Saturday set up as a free play period, and that's our player development day.
Mhm.
So people can come in, and we've been getting people from all over the region coming in on Saturdays to St. Andrews Park to work on their game and develop.
Well, let me rephrase my question. At the tournaments, are you all planning to charge people to get inside of the tournament?
Yes,
Admission fee.
there's,
Admission fee.
yeah, well, not to spectate, but to play, to participate, there is a fee to play in the tournaments.
Okay.
So, do you typically like have like, how many tables do you keep at St. Andrews?
This past Saturday, we had 14 tables.
Are you able to keep them and are you able to keep them there?
We
So
are.
you don't have to
Yeah,
load them up? Okay, that's nice.
yes, sir.
Well, I think it's great that y'all are doing this and it's bringing in revenue. I think as a group, we can discuss this further and we'll get back to you.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you. I
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much for your presentation. It's great.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything? Sorry. All right. Thank you.
Our next public input for the night is Ms. Victoria Dixon Mokiba.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, commissioners and community members. I am Victoria Dixon McCabe, the founding director, head of school at Carolina School for Inquiry. So on behalf of the Carolina School for Inquiry, I would like to extend an heartfelt thanks to the Richland County Recreation Commission for your continued support and partnership. Your commitment in enriching lives of young learners and supporting educational initiatives play a vital role in the success of our students. Carolina School for Inquiry is a public charter elementary school located in Richland School District 1 that focuses on inquiry-based learning and nurturing the whole child. Our motto, our saying is, our mission, the mission of the Carolina School for Inquiry is to teach a diverse population of children in an atmosphere of kindness that encourages active inquiry, fosters individual growth, and promotes respect for self, others, and the world in which they live. We are dedicated to providing a dynamic and engaging education that inspires students to ask questions, explore ideas, and develop a lifelong love of learning. Your collaboration the spirit of collaboration, we would like to keep our communication open. We kindly request an opportunity to meet with the Board of Commissioners so that we can please have an audience with you. We believe a conversation will allow us to explore further opportunities for collaboration that benefit both the students and the broader community. Again, I just want to say thank you again for your ongoing support and for investing in the future of education in Richland County. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The last person to speak is Mr. Kelvin Washington.
Good evening, Board, Chairman Lapine, and the rest of the commissioners. My name is Kelvin Washington Jr., and I'm a former employee here at Richland County Recreation with the foundation. I stand before you guys today for a representative of Lower Richland Promise. We have an event coming up, the Gaston Community Day event. The highlight of this event is dealing with our seniors about addressing the issue of heirs property. A lot of families in the rural area are losing their land due to not having the proper documentation, whether that's a will of deed or a power of attorney. So with this Gadsden Day, we'll start off the event with an informational. We'll give out the information about heirs property and then have all fees associated for certain seniors taken care and paid for by the sponsors of this event. After that, we then would do a kickball game that we cater to our middle school kickball kids. Just a good time out there. We'll have bouncy houses, free ice cream for them, and then we'll have a grill off. We just got our very own Sheriff Lott that will be hosting this grill off with us, which is a partner of this event. And we will end it with a line dance celebration. So I'm standing before you guys to please waive the fees for this event, as it will be a tremendous benefit to the community. And to say that we did get a lot of assistance from the staff, Ms. Camille, Mr. George, and Ms. Demetria. We did a walkthrough, and they shared some of their concerns with us, which was, the grills. We do plan on, invite patrons to come out and bring their grills. But we did speak with the fire marshal. They must be 10 feet away from the tree line, as well. If their tent is not treated, it has to be 10 feet away. So we do, to help out with that issue, we will have a certain number of grills that will be allowed. And once we cut off to that max, then we'll cut it. And another concern they brought up was the trail ride. They said that, they thought that it would be like a trail ride where people come bring their horses and, but it is not. It's just a line dance celebration, which would people just be out in the field and the music would be played. So I do ask you guys to please consider.
Are you through?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I am.
Okay, thank you so much. We think it's a wonderful event. However, we have some questions, but you're on the agenda tonight, item 7 on the new business, and we'll discuss it then. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's good. All right, very good. Thank you for everybody's input. With that said, we'll move into our financial reports. Chief Financial Officer, Ryan Anzana, please.
Good evening, Chair Lapine, members of the Commission Board. I'd like to begin tonight by providing you with an update on the General and Enterprise Fund financials for the period July 1, 2024 through April 30, 2025. Total revenues for the general fund for the 10-month period were approximately $25.5 million. This is comprised of a $5.1 million direct allocation from the state for a planned facility purchase that is the Richland County Wellness Center purchase. The remaining $20.3 million is derived from administrative and program operating revenues. Compared to $17.3 million revenues this time last year, that represents an increase of approximately $3.1 million or 17.7%. The bulk of this increase comes from the county's property tax allocation. Our allocation did increase from last fiscal year. In addition, grant revenues were up from last year as we received funding for the Hopkins Pool project, as well as the playground projects at Hopkins Park. Additionally, program revenues have increased from this time last year. Program revenues for the 10-month period were $924,000 compared to $698,000. Represents a $226,000 increase or 31.4%. Athletics and rec programming revenue, as well as youth camp revenue, were the largest drivers for these increases as volume was up from the prior year. General fund expenditures for this period were $16.2 million compared to $12.3 million this time last year. Represents approximately 31.7% increase or 3.9%. The biggest driver for this increase would be salaries and fringe for a few reasons. We did have the longevity program that was instituted this year. We had COLA increases, which affected the first half of the fiscal year, as well as increased seasonal hires to meet volume increases. We also had some filled vacancies that all contributed to this increase at the beginning of fiscal year 25. Capital improvement expenses were up. We had front-loaded some of our budgeted capital projects, including the Hopkins Pool and pool building project. We had final payments made on parking lot projects at Kaufman Road, Meadow Lake Park, as well as parking lot repairs at Park Lane and Killian. For Enterprise Fund, LINRIC revenues for the current period were $963,000 compared to $948,000 this time last year. Represents approximately $14.5 thousand increase from this time last year, or 1.5%. Largest driver for the increase was cart rentals and pro shop sales, as volume is up from this time last year. Enterprise fund expenditures for the period were $857,000 compared to $898,000. Represents approximately 4.6% decrease or $41,000. Capital outlay was the largest driver for this decrease as we had purchased a Fairway mower in the first half of fiscal year 24. Finally, Richland County Wellness Center revenues for the current period were $1.13 million through April 30th. This includes $888,000 of one-time funds received from the state. We received funding due to RCWC at the closing in the amount of $63,000. The remaining funding came from patrons and memberships. The Wellness Center expenditures for this period were $376,000 through April 30th. The bulk of these expenses were comprised of capital improvement projects completed shortly after RCRC took ownership. Chief among those was the pool renovation, as well as salaries and fringe expenditures. Are there any questions?
I have a question, not in regards to what you just spoke about, but I did actually ask executive director as well, but I just want to know, how do you feel about you guys' budget meeting not too long ago?
I think it went very well. We presented on some of the momentum that we built this year in completing capital improvement projects.
Okay.
We reiterated our desire to keep that momentum going into the new fiscal year. We presented some of the highlights of the initiatives that we built into the fiscal year 26 budget. We received good feedback, and at this point, we're waiting on there is a public hearing coming up, and then the first and second readings are all scheduled for late May, early June.
Sweet. Well, keep doing a good job. I didn't have a patron that was there that told me that you all did a good job. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so no unfinished business. We'll move to new business. So I guess I'm supposed to ask for a motion to approve request for waiver of facility fees. So this would be in regards to what we just spoke about. Request for waiver of facility fees, Gadsden Community, Family and Friends Day, sponsored by Lower Richland Promise. So this is an action item for tonight. So is there a motion for this? I don't think there is. Well, I got it. So,
Discussion first.
yeah,
Chair Lapine, our staff do have some concerns that they do want to share with you all as a board, to enlighten you all on this matter a little bit. So I'm requesting that Ms. Reeves and Mr. George Pearson report to the podium, please.
just this once.
Good evening, Chair and the Board of Commissioners. For the Family and Friends Day at Gadsden, the proposed date is May 31st. One concern that we had was the event being actually advertised before it was approved by the board. That was one concern. Another concern is, I know they said that they're having food trucks. With the food trucks, they have to come through Richland County Recreation, which it was explained to him, Mr. Kelvin, and he understands that the food trucks have to come through Richland County Recreation, and that's $150 per food truck. Mr. Kelvin, how many trucks are you gonna have?
Oh, we have nobody. We only had planned to have one food truck vendor.
Okay. Also, the sheriff department, so have you reached out to the sheriff department already to get the sheriff department involved and also another security company?
Yes, Sheriff Lot will be a part of the Judge about the Grillo, and they will partnership with this event as well. So yeah, and in regards to the second company, we got 3 quotes, and we're gonna follow with them within the next 2 days.
Okay, but before the board can approve this, we would like to have all that information in hand before you all approve it. We're asking for you all to not have any coolers at this event, no horses, no ATVs, and all that at this event, only because of the safety hazard of the crowd. Board, do you all have any questions for myself?
Yeah. What's the permitted time generally when we approve one of these type of events?
It's 45 days in advance.
So when was this presented?
We received all the information on last week. Friday was the last day that we received the permit. Am I correct?
Tuesday was the day when the packet was complete, and then Friday evening is when the actual permit was sent over. But we did receive on Tuesday, the receipt and the permit approval, which was May 13th.
So I'm not quite sure. If we didn't do this on time, why are we talking about it?
Not sure.
Okay. Is there any questions?
Did they have a 45-day window?
When it was presented to us, it wasn't 45 days. What month we were in? We were in May. It was probably back in April that it came to us, when Mr. Kelvin actually brought it to the staff and we had questions. We gave him everything that he needed to get to us. And I also gave him the waiver of fees and the facility agreement. But it still wasn't 45 days in advance in order to get to you all for it to be 45 days in advance.
And still no security contract signed yet.
Correct.
My concern is protocol. We have a certain procedure that you go by when you're trying to use it, especially one of this magnitude, being that we just did a Jazz Fest. So that's my concern. So if the protocol has been met, that tells me that all the safety measures and all the things that should have been in place won't be in place. So now we're scrambling,
Correct.
trying to put together something to make it safe for the community. I'm all about community stuff. Y'all know I love doing community, especially in those rural areas like Gaston, Hopkins, and East Oak. But there's still protocol.
Yes, sir.
When protocol is broken, I have a problem with that.
Commissioner Allison, the staff share the same sentiments and concern as well as myself and executive leadership. I know when Mr. Washington was he was employed here, he was working with the foundation with this event, and it kind of stirred to the left a little bit, and things had to be kind of dialed back some. So when Mr. Washington decided to separate himself from the agency, he was allowed to continue to proceed to have this event. He met with staff to get some things in place. So as far as the permits and things like that, some of the stuff is there. My concern as well as your concern and executive leadership concern is we want to be supportive of events, but we have to make sure that these events are safe. Because if something happened, Mr. Washington is not going to get sued. All liability will be on RCRC and myself and you all as commissioners. Gaston is a great community to bring out a lot of people for a lot of great events. Not having that security document in hand, there's a problem for us. Promoting this event prior to it being approved, that is a problem for us. Because people are calling and want to know, who they need to pay for money and this and that. It's not a RCRC event. It's a Kevin Washington Lower Richmond Promise event. The earliest they could have that event with a 45-day window would be June 28th. And that would give them enough time to bring everything back to you all next month to present everything in next month board meeting and meet that 45-day window. And if everything is done correctly, I won't have a problem with standing up there asking you guys to waive the fees. If they're collecting money through sponsorships, they need to pay for it, like everybody else do. Because these type of events, it takes staffing, which costs us money. We paying overtime for custodians, buildings and grounds, security, all that is nothing that we budget for. That is and we're not doing nothing to him that we don't do for anybody else that utilize these facilities. It just protocol is policy and it's across the board. And those are the things that have to be considered. Ms. Reed, if they had an event next week, we don't even have the staff to assist them with it. We don't have staff. It takes weeks to get staff in place. We're talking about 2 to 3 custodians, 2 or 3 buildings and grounds guys, cutting the grass, lining the fields, safety monitors out there, our full-time staff working out there, because Gaston will bring a big crowd. It'll be probably a smaller version of Sweet Potato Festival. 300 to 400 people is a lot of people in a tight space with one way in and one way out. And we're not sure how involved Sheriff Lott is. Mr. Washington said that he's participating in the grill off, but we also understand that there have to be so many deputies per people that's allocated at these events. And Mr. George could speak on the number of deputies per people attending. So my recommendation is Mr. Crawford and Mr. Washington and his team need to get everything that we're requiring for us to bring this back to you all in next month board meeting to have a proper and safe event. If it's not going to be done properly and safe, I will not, and I'm telling you, I will not recommend that the fees be waived. But if they want to pay for it, they still need to make sure that they have the proper documentation and stuff in place to make sure that this is a safe event. We want to support Gaston in those rural areas like we do everybody else. But when we meet with everybody else, they do the things that are required by RCRC policy. And the first thing is they do ensure that they get things to you guys in the 45-day window, because I don't have the authority to say yeah or nay. That is a decision based on the Board of Commissioners. You all have the leverage to say yes or no.
Mr. Washington, can you reschedule for that date for July the 28th?
With the event originally, I was doing it through the foundation. I was approved by my supervisor and other supervisors to proceed with the event. So I went and we started. We hosted a community meeting at Gaston Park where 50 people came in. They heard about the event, heard about our idea. Throughout the process, then it came about that, there was a change in my position here at RCRC. But then the word has already started and we already started soliciting dollars for this event and started promoting it to the community. So everybody already had, May 31st kind of set as a date. So met with the staff again and the supervisors. They said, hey, look, you can proceed with it. May 31st date is already booked, but we need this, that, and that, to present to it by a certain time. We got those documentation there. Now, we talk about security and Sheriff Lott. I do not mind tomorrow to get, a reconfirmation on, his status and how many deputies he will employ for this event, whatever the case may be. But we did, May 31st is a date that was out there that we was told to approve for that event.
Who told you this was approved, Kevin?
Yeah, I was
What,
gonna ask.
originally?
Yes.
My supervisor, Ms. Lisa Lewis, met with her. She said it was okay. Then we met with Connie Reeves. She was there. Who else was it? Who else was supervisor? Okay, Mr. George was there, Ms. Tiana was there, and Ms. Demetri was there. And we did a PowerPoint presentation, saying, hey, this is what we would like to do. They said, okay, it was fine. Now they did share their concern, said it was a tight window, but I did assure them that, we'll do everything we could to, make this window and, turn in the proper documentations.
So when this was a partnership with the foundation, it was a RCRC event. Therefore, you don't need a 45-day window. There's no longer RCRC event. You have a 45-day window.
No, agreed. But like I said, we thought we was under the impression that we was doing it with the foundation. So that's where, the mishap happened. All of a sudden, the foundation is no longer a part of the event, but we kind of made banking phone calls. We reached out to like over 100 residents. We had a community meeting. Like I said, we solicited funds. We got the ball rolling. And it was just all of a sudden, to just say, hey, the event's not going on without a clear reason, if that makes sense.
No, the reason was because everything get to my desk eventually. There were several meetings, there were several discussions with you prior to, with your last supervisor about protocol and things that wasn't done properly. And Ms. Singleton was also at the meeting, correct? And she did not have authority to approve a meeting. Lisa Lewis, did you approve this event?
Kelvin kept adding things to the event as the meetings will go on. So that's where all the reservations started.
Okay. So, I hear what everybody's saying here. I think could be a good event. I think that it's important to remember, and I don't know if George is still here, but I know that each Richland County, George, how many sheriffs would you, deputies, and how long would you recommend them to be there when they do set this up for another time?
So the concern is always going to be what the maximum number of participants going to be at the peak hour. Based off of what his numbers are saying, he says that he's going to have approximately 300 personnel at the peak time in there. I was also explained that this was not going to be somewhere where somebody was actually going to be set in that position. People would come in, get food, and leave. So the concerns, first to answer your questions, how many you're going to need with Richland County. So the really number is not really about the number of Richland County. It's called, what it's for is crowd managers. And crowd managers are the individuals who are responsible for managing the crowd in the event that there's an emergency. So when we're talking about events similar to like this, we talk about outdoor events. Once you go over the number of 1,000, you have to have one crowd manager for every 250 personnel. The concerns that I have about the event, which I have articulated to Mr. Kelvin also, is number one is the grills. I'm not in agreement for the grills being out there because they have to follow underneath the same protocols unless for just the same thing for the barbecue cookout and for all vendors who participate at our locations, which means they got to have a fire extinguisher. They got to have their grill placed a certain amount of distance away. Also, they must leave with what they bring in. So there's no such thing as taking coals and storing it somewhere on the facility to come back later on. If they cook with grills and stuff out there with coals, they got to take the coals out with them. Another concern that I have is this is supposed to be a family event to which we have children. So we talk about coolers. So when we talk about coolers, we also talk about alcohol. This is more of like a family reunion type of event versus more of a family get together because you're going to have children, you're going to have the kickball games and stuff like that. This is why we started talking about the additional for security. So for the security to go and inspect the vehicles and coolers if allowed for alcohol. So if there's an event that has kids on the premises, even though we know we have zero tolerance for alcohol on premises, there's zero tolerance when you have children on the premises. So those are my concerns when it comes to this event right here. So to even have alcohol on the premises, they have to get a waiver for that.
Okay. So that being said, if they were gonna have sheriffs from the Signal 30, which is the detachment that we have here tonight, that would be required, how many? Because they wouldn't be called event.
Correct.
managers.
They will have to be working in the capacity as Richland County sheriffs.
So how many would you want to be there?
At a minimum for 300 like that, I'd say maybe 5
And that's 5 for how many hours?
for the entire time.
So just so everybody knows, the sheriff's on their Signal 30 charge $53 per hour per
Mhm.
person. So you can do the math. I mean, it's something to think about. That being said, I don't think the protocol's been met for this event. I hope that they can push this back because it would be a great thing if done properly according to the specs and standards that we set. So with that said, is there a motion?
Also, I have one more
I'm sorry.
alibi. That's okay. One more alibi. So during the initial meeting that we had at the Park Lane headquarters over here, the one question that I continued to ask was, why is this date so important? Why can't we not push it back? Because I know for a fact that how long it takes for an event to be planned accordingly. So I continuously ask, what is the significance about this particular date? Why we cannot move this date? No answer.
Well, I get all that, but I think there's protocol and I think, we want to support events as we've done with the Sweet Potato Festival and all the other events. But I think, I'll leave it up to the commissioners to, if they want to bring up the motion. If not, I would hope that they can reschedule this for a time that meets our standards and times and protocols.
Is this an annual event? It's an annual event?
So they've had this event previously before. This was prior to, I would say, COVID, where everybody would just show up to the location. So now that when the events are happening on Richland County property, we now have certain protocols to allow certain events to be happening on the properties.
Is
Can I
it
ask a question?
Oh, yes.
Commissioner Christopher.
Hey, sorry. Are you guys, are they serving food? Because on the application, he said, no, they're not serving food, but I keep hearing food being served. And then the 11 hours of having 5 officers on duty seems like a lot as well, as Commissioner Lapine already brought up. But the application says no serving food, but I keep hearing food being served.
So their application is saying that they're going to do a barbecue cook-off, and then it also, based off of their flyer, is they are allowing personnel to bring their own grills to cook at the facility. This is why I figured this is more of like a family reunion event more than a actual event for the for the seniors and stuff like that. This is a Gadsden community get together that which they used to have previously before, in which they want to try to start again and have it every year, just like they do with the Sweet Potato Fest and so forth like that.
Can we table it until June?
Well, we can just not vote on it. And the question,
I'd like to-
Mayor Bob, the question's not called, the motion. So is it just tabled? Is that what it means?
Next time, if you want to bring it up at a specific time, say deferred until it's going through. And that would be, you're looking to bring it up at the next meeting or the special call meeting, I would say that if not, no action is taken, means nothing happened.
I think we just do no action unless, do you have any opinions Jen, on timing?
I'm gonna have to be honest with you, all we doing is putting ourselves in jeopardy. There's no protocol here.
Right.
So until they get protocol, then we can vote on it. Until protocol, we ain't got nothing to
So
do
we'll
with it.
table it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Do that if you want. That's it. Mr. Washington, are you gonna want to bring this back up for another time? No,
No.
all right.
You don't want to do it later?
No, we probably just, no. It's, I don't know how the procedures work. Is there any way that?
Yeah, you can shut, you can talk.
I don't know necessarily the protocol, and I'm sorry if I'm, if not, is there any way that we can, reassure with the board here today about the concerns and rapidly address it? And the only reason why I said that, like I said, originally when this event was brought to her, we was approved to proceed with this event. Go ahead, you could do it. Sponsors, I mean, you know, we reach out to community, like we did a whole phone baking system for this event on that day, May 31st. Now, I understand when we talk about, you know, protocol, you know, and I truly do. But I mean, if we can reassure you guys, if that's paying for the facility, is that paying for additional deputies, is that bringing in another, you know, contract group to come in, do security, whatever the measures is to take, that I do ask the board to please consider, and we will make that happen over the next 2 or 3 days.
Sir, what we trying to tell is that when you come to us and ask us what you are asking us, you have to have everything in place. You have security signed, contract signed, all your people, you have to everything, give us something to vote on. We have nothing. So we just can't do nothing with you. So we have to table it. If you want us to table it, we'll table it and come back next month and talk about it. You bring everything to us next month, we look at it and we can give you a decision. But right now, it's dead on arrival the way you're bringing it to us.
One more comment, sir. I'm probably commissioner, you know, I'm not trying to go back and forth at all. We had everything except for the only thing, we brought the insurance policy, we brought insurance for the event. I mean, we have everything that was asked from the staff. The only thing that we are missing, they would say, is the contract with the security company. But everything else, all the documentation that needed to be turned in, we turned it in.
You still not understanding.
Right.
You don't have everything that we need. You understand what I'm saying? Bring us what we need, then we'll vote on it. Okay?
I'd like to recognize Ms. Reese.
Yeah, so board on last Tuesday when we met down at Gadsden, and Mr. Mitra can vouch for me, I did tell Mr. Kelvin and the group that was out there with him that this event has not been approved. It's not approved until our Board of Commissioners have received all packages, everything that's supposed to be in that package, and it will not be approved. So I said it has to go to our Board of Commissioners first in order for it to be approved and in order for you to actually advertise the event. And I asked him in the meetings prior to the Tuesday walkthrough to change the date of the event to give our Board of Commissioners time to ask questions, make sure everything was in the package, make sure he had everything for his event, for it to be a successful event. So all I asked was to make sure that our Board of Commissioners receive everything prior to advertising the event. So I let him know last week in the meeting that it's not approved until our Board of Commissioners have approved the meeting. Thank you, board.
Before we move on, I do want to make reference to, I believe that Ms. Lindsay, Mr. Anderson, and Mr. Mobley, we all have people, family, relatives, cousins, everything that you can think of in Hopkins, Gaston, and Eastover. I do want to make reference, and our executive director made reference to it as well. I'm all for our community doing whatever we need to do. I'm very much in support of Hopkins, Eastover, and Gaston anytime we're doing something for the community. I just want to make sure that RCRC won't be at liberty for nothing. So I do want to have that on the record, and I do want to make that clear for those that may be watching and those that are here tonight.
Well, you took my thunder away again, and you know, basically, except I might have relatives.
You ain't got nobody.
Yeah, but then, but as Commissioner Mobley so eloquently stated, having everything wrapped up and then our executive director not being behind it, I think as a board, as commissioners, it makes it very hard for us to move forward with this at this time. We hope that you reconsider, and I think that, as you guys said, I think that we hope that this can continue because we do want these events, but they just have to be done in the right way. Thank you. All right. We're gonna talk about a briefing of Lower Richland Alumni Foundation Esports donation. So who's gonna speak on that?
Go.
And just so everybody knows, what I think Mayor Bob's gonna get up and talk about, there was some articles, news reports about the foundation. So we've been looking into it and we wanted to put everything on the record from our standpoint. So thank you.
Just very briefly, this was a donation that happened prior to, I think, many of y'all, and certainly prior to Taurus's arrival. So would be very clear on that. From our standpoint, we received, it appears, $28,000 worth of the esports equipment, which is a good thing. And because it's been in the news a little bit, we just wanted to be completely transparent and open, do it in open session, have it on the agenda, that's what we have received. There's not a problem with that. I did, speak to a number of people just to make sure we were on the right footing. And I think we are. Now, what happens vis-a-vis a grant or something from the state and, bookkeeping with that to the state, we don't have any say-so or oversight over that. And Taurus, to his credit, is simply responding to, what did we receive? What should we have received? I don't think we had a contractual obligation. They may have said, this is how much is going to be given, but I don't think it was a donation. So I think you can see these documents and I think they ought to be public. As a result, if there are any other questions, I would recommend, and I've told Taurus that I think you should, continue to dig in any other documents, since no one in management was here when this originated. They may just want to keep looking. And if there's anything that needs to be brought to everyone's attention, we certainly will. I'd be glad to answer any questions if there are any, but this is primarily just to make sure we're open and transparent. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. You said we received $28,000. Does it show what we received them for, that amount for? I know.
It
Yeah,
has
the
it listed, the various items. Now, this is on a document that Mr. Lewis has that totals $28,000. Because we're not buying it, we're not contractually doing it. That's what we have been presented with that equipment. And I believe that we have that equipment. Some people, someone could argue that maybe it's not worth as much or maybe it's worth more. But in terms of what we've received, we know that.
We have a receipt showing.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Commissioner Lewis can share that.
These are copies. Let's give these out right now.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm sorry, I was starting and didn't even. This has everything that we received, and it has a cost estimate on that. The third page has, the things that went to each part. Now, had we gone out and bought it ourselves, then that's a whole different situation. Had we contracted with someone to receive a certain amount, that's a different situation. We are the receiving equipment on esports, of which, by the way, is a very up and coming, very futuristic type of sport. It's not just playing on a computer, it's doing sports. And, students can get scholarships at various schools. Winthrop, for example, has an entire department on that. So it's one of those things it's an up and coming. So it has a lot of benefit for kids to learn how esports can advance academically in higher education with that, scholarship wise.
I'd like to know, did someone verify this?
I don't think they've been verified. This was the information that Taurus had, and of course, it was given to the Rec Commission before Taurus got here. I don't know, I mean, I think what has been verified is this equipment has been given.
Yes, the equipment list that you have, I'm not sure the page is on, has been inventoried by our staff. That is a quote that we received from the Lower Richmond Promise member who stated that whatever that price is on that quote is what the game costs. But based on the article, another number was put out there that was given to the commission. We also had in-house staff to track the numbers from Best Buy where the actual equipment was purchased from, and we got a total different number based on that quote. It's lesser than that quote that you have there. So as Mr. Cova stated, this was the last administration. It was done in just from the Lower Richmond Promise Foundation to provide our students and after school and summer camp with the opportunity to utilize video games and computers for esports, after school fun activities. Our staff generally use those games during after school and summer camp. If kids come in on the weekend and want to use them, if we got staff available, we'll pull them out and we allow them to be used. But because this was put out there in the news and in the media, and RCRC was specifically mentioned that we receive a certain amount of money for a certain amount of video games, we just want to be transparent. I'm in the seat now, so I have to address it. RCRC, to my knowledge, we haven't did anything wrong. We took a donation that was used and is being used for the kids in the Lower Richmond community. But it's best that we put it out there and share this intel so you all don't get phone calls later on from somebody questioning it. State newspaper, they called, they went to Bluff Road Park, and I think Hopkins Park, and they took pictures of the equipment. We had nothing to hide. But it's been put out there. So all the equipment that you see, it is accurate. We do have possession of it. We do have it. How much it costs, we can't say because we didn't buy it.
Let me just reemphasize what Mr. Lewis said. The Rec Commission hadn't done anything wrong. You've received a donation and you put it to use. It wasn't one you sought, but one you received. And how much the value of it is not something that you would, that you bought or you paid something for. It's just, there has been a news article on it. And rather than not be transparent and not be proactive, Mr. Lewis wanted us to get it out there with all the information that he has. And if we learn something else, to do the same.
Okay, thank you.
And this is for information only and just for your benefit. And if you get press inquiries or articles, you'll at least know you've been briefed on it.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions or comments? Does anybody have any questions or comments about this? All right. Thank you very much. Now we're going to get into the executive, other business with Taurus, our executive director's report.
Good afternoon. Project updates. Blackwood Park. We mentioned to you guys last month that we started converting tennis courts over to pickleball courts. If you look at the PowerPoint as they go being presented, you'll see there have been a lot of work put in place. Specifically here, Mr. Cooper has been leading this project. As you see, they're putting down tile. That is the new, that tile will last for 30 years on tennis courts. Mr. Cooper and myself and a lot of us that went to National last year, we went to the vendor show, and this is what a lot of recreation agencies and resorts and stuff they're doing now to replace tennis courts. So right here you have two tennis courts that was two old tennis courts that wasn't being used. Now they're being converted into 6 pickleball courts. We're also adding new fencing. The old fencing will come up and be new black fencing. There'll be membership based to a certain degree to play. We got some staff here now from Blythewood Park. The park manager has spoken to Mr. Cooper, and phone is constantly ringing. People coming by, they're excited about being able to have pickleball in Richland County. We're also doing the same thing over at Dennis Terrace Community Center as well. As you see, courts are being renovated. Those 2 courts will be formed to 4 pickleball courts, which will give us a total of 10 in the county that we didn't previously have. As you all know, pickleball is huge nationwide now. Of course, pickleball and tennis people don't quite get along. So now we have a facility where 2 facilities, they're differently, totally away from tennis facilities that will give us the opportunity now to have our athletics do pickleball leagues and, you know, some tournaments and things like that. And it's just a start of something different that we didn't have. So this was funded through a park grant. We was able to get the funding for it, pay our match for it, we'll get refunding back. Some agency updates. We had several Mother Day brunches that took place last week, and the previous week. At Upper Richland Community Center, as you see, Senator Tamika Isaac Devine was the guest speaker. Darcy Strickland Rush, she was the MC of the event. It was a huge turnout up there for Upper Richland. Miss Charlene did a great job with her staff hosting these events. We also had Mother Day brunches at Newcastle, North Springs Community Center, Gaston Community Center as well. And this past weekend, I believe we had one at Piney Grove Community Center. All of these events was well attended by various staff. I got out to Upper Richland and North Springs. Some of the other staff was able to visit some of the other sites. I think this was the first year that we did this for most of the community centers. So Miss Charlene and her staff and Mr. Demetrius staff down in Gaston, they did a great job with hosting our mothers for Mother's Day. So great job to them. Today we had National Tennis Month over at the tennis center next door. We were able to have several council members, Councilwoman Gretchen Barron, Councilwoman Shakisa Newton, Councilman Jason Branham, and Councilwoman Alicia Tariscio. They was in attendance with USTA, CTA, RCRC, and we had a roundtable discussion about funding and grant opportunities to improve our tennis courts, i.e. Kaufman Road Park, St. Andrews Park. There's going to be a push with these representatives here to really get our tennis courts back up to par so we can start generating some revenue, also have some great courts for league play, and to get the things back the way that we used to be. So this is a start of it to get this going. So having council members that play tennis is a plus because they want to see the courts up and running nice and stuff like that. So I'm confident that our leadership will be able to assist. They will be able to assist our leadership with some funding in the near future to get our tennis courts back where they need to be across the board. Athletics, our summer basketball registration has increased to 727 kids for this summer. That's a 25% jump from last year. Last year we had about 550. We have a girls league this year. We have a 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 age group that all made ages division. So that's a huge kudos to our athletics and our young ladies that want to play basketball. That's really nice. We have futsal. That's a new indoor soccer. Chairman Lapine, you might can play this. We had 24 registered youth. You probably keep up with them. Made 4 teams. They played inside. So we're gonna get you and Commissioner Marvin over there, put y'all on the team. And we want y'all to play in the terrace with our youth. So it's indoor soccer, 3-on-3. Y'all should be able to keep up with that.
Take anybody on it.
I should have got him started. We also have 16 softball teams. We have 10 men team. We have 6 co-ed teams. That's last year. This time we had 9. So once again, our athletics department is when you put out a great product, people want to be a part of it. So they really doing an awesome job with introducing new sports to Richland County, the uniforms, the officials, vetting coaches. Like I said, when you got a great product, people want to be a part of it. We don't get no complaints about the prices and the fees. People are, excited about the championship rings that they could get now. We don't do trophies, we do championship rings. So we big time over here. We don't do participation. You win or you go home. So but athletics are doing a great job with advertising these sports and just getting our sports up. And I know we start summer in a couple of weeks, and 2 weeks from now they'll be registering for fall sports. So kudos to them for the increase in the numbers with these youth and giving them something positive to do over the summer. Training, agency training, Ms. Brittany and her staff will continue to do in-house training. And I know every month I get up and I talk about training, but it's something that was not been done for 6 to 7 years. And that's a liability when you have people working in the agency that don't have certifications and the things that they need dealing with our youth, dealing with our seniors, dealing with our patrons. So May the 6th, we had customer service training. May the 8th, we had heat stress. The 14th or 15th of May, last week, we had drivers improvement. And then May 22nd, I believe is Thursday, we have another first aid and CPR training. So we're tracking our part-time and full-time. These are mandatory trainings that they have to attend. And there will be some stipulation if you don't attend them after a certain time. And you guys may get some phone calls and when somebody's taking off the schedule and can't go to work because they don't have their certification, but we cannot take this stuff for granted. If somebody, go into cardiac arrest or somebody get hurt at a park, our staff need to be able to assist the EMS arrive. And we're putting on its on making sure not only myself, I attend trainings, I require and I recommend that our leadership attend training as well. So we don't ask staff to do something that we don't do ourselves. So if we do it, we expect our staff to do it. And we don't want you all getting a call saying that somebody was neglectful in a facility because they didn't know how to run the first aid and CPR, use an AED machine or something like that. So, and customer service training has been great. We have a training coordinator, Ms. Amy Matthews, and she does an excellent job working with Ms. Sampson, coordinating these trainings for our staff. And it's a challenge, but we're getting our people trained and certified to do what they need to do on behalf of the agency. So, have any questions or concerns?
Kaufman Road Park.
Yes, ma'am.
At one time I heard that they were considering doing a pickleball at a tennis court, or are they gonna fix the tennis court there? And
The conversation today is to improve Kaufman Road Tennis Center. That is about a $750,000 bill right now. As I stated earlier, pickleball and tennis don't get along.
Right.
But there was some conversation at one point about maybe building some pickleball courts over in that overflow field, that multipurpose field at Kaufman, away from the tennis. But we'll figure that out when the time comes. The main thing now is to get those courts, renovated, get new lighting, new nets, get the clubhouse renovated so we could bring the Southern 12s back, all the big tournaments that we miss out on. As they told us today at the roundtable discussion, Lexington County, Camden, and Sumter County is generating over $1 million a year just in tennis because they had the facilities. And they get questioned all the time why here in the city of Columbia or Richland County, your two main Parks and Recreation Agency tennis courts are not up to par. So we hoping that USTA and CTA can assist us with some funding. I know we got some match funding for the new lights out here, so we're working to get that package completed to get new lights and poles out there outside. But our main focus will be Trenton Park, Kaufman Road, and St. Andrews. because those courts, we could do sanctioned tournaments and bring revenue into the agency, but also have some good places and safe places to play tennis. So we'll keep you guys posted along the way as we move forward with this.
And just to piggyback behind what you said, I'm in total agreement with you with Kaufman Road, because all the patrons or all the people in the Kaufman Road area are asking for tennis.
Yes.
Several people have been here to Richland County Recreation Commission to speak up about wanting to have those parks done. So I would suggest or agree with you with keeping those as tennis.
Yes. Councilwoman Shakise Newton, that's her district, and she's an avid tennis player now. So she's gonna meet with me and my staff on some potential funding, additional funding from the county to see what we can do to try to get that project started. Sweet.
I wanted to commend you on your report tonight, especially, give a applause to athletics. I mean, to take basketball from 500 to 750, that's huge. And that's a lot of good revenue, but that's also just goes to show you what our athletics is doing. So thank you very much for what you're doing.
Mr. BJ, keep doing what you're doing.
And what I didn't have, I forgot it, I'm getting old. Our after school, our summer camp numbers are doing extremely well. I know Commissioner Mobley had a concern about with the fee changing, what people register. I think we got 3 or 4 sites already sold out. They're capped out. So, and as school kind of in a little bit, we'll start continuing to see those numbers at some of our sites fill up. So we were mindful of those fee increases, but we are seeing the results of them, Commissioner Mobley. People are paying, and they're locking them in, and they're trying to make sure that they have somewhere safe and decent for their kids to go this summer. And we're gonna make sure that we put a good product out to represent RCRC to our best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The ribbon cutting ceremony at Hopkins Park Pool was held on Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. Thank you to the citizens of Hopkins, Richland County Council delegation, and our Board of Commissioners for making this long-awaited day so memorable. Please check out our website under Aquatics tab for hours of operation. The Lower Richland Sweet Potato Festival and Parade featured several line performances, Kids Zone, and community vendors, arts and craft, delicious food, and sweet potato ice cream. Despite a few raindrops, over 1,000 people braved the weather and enjoyed this annual festival at Hopkins Park. The Volunteer Appreciation Social was held at Park Lane Adult Activity Center on Tuesday, April 30th, 2025. RCRC's treasured volunteers enjoyed an evening of networking, words of encouragement, food, and recognition. During the month of May, RCRC hosted several Mother's Day events. Wednesday, May 7th, the Upper Richland Community Center held a Mother's Love and Kindness celebration with keynote speaker Senator Tamika Isaac Devine and Mistress of Ceremony, Ms. Darcy Strickland Rush. On Thursday, May 8th, the Ballantyne Community Center held the Mother's Day brunch. Also on May 8th, Mother's Day brunch with Hatitude at North Springs Community Center. And Friday, May 16th, Mother's Day Appreciation Banquet held at Pine Grove Community Center. Legends Field Day was held on Friday, May 16th at Park Lane Road Adult Activity Center. Legends 50 Plus came out for a little friendly competition, activities, and bragging rights. Thank you to the staff at Park Lane AAC for always supporting our seniors with smile and enthusiasm. And as far as the foundation, on April 26th, the foundation sponsored ping pong and pasta at St. Andrews Park as part of Columbia Food and Wine Festival. This is an exciting new partnership as part of large hospitality and tourism event across the Midlands. On Saturday, May 10th, the Richland County Recreation Foundation hosted an Art and Rec Connect pop-up at Cola Jazz Festival and the Koger Center. Children were invited to create jazz-themed artwork using oil pastels to create colorful designs. Also, on May 6th, Midlands Give, Midlands Gives Day, was a generous donors, where generous donors gave $555 to support recreation scholarships and arts programming in our parks. If you haven't had an opportunity to donate, it's not too late. Please contact Ms. Lisa Lewis and she will provide a donation link. And Park of the Month for this month is Blythewood Park. Congratulations to Ms. Yvonne White, Mr. Clarence Nelson, Ms. Shante Cleveland, Mr. Brian Chavis, and Mr. Calvin Pearson. All right, and the community center for the month is Parent Thomas Community Center. Congratulations to Miss Hazel Reese, Miss Vanessa White, Mr. Delano Manning, and Miss Demetria Goodwin.
That is you, man.
So.
Yeah. And our upcoming events are as follows. Excuse me, I'm not gonna be long. June 7th, we have a part-time staff brunch at Garner's Ferry Adult Activity Center. June 12th, chair volleyball tournament at Crane Creek Gym. June 11th, Father's Day brunch at Ballantyne Community Center. June 12th, Happy Father's Day at Gaston Park Community Center. June 13th, Father's Day coffee and biscuits at Pine Grove Community Center. And in conclusion, we are having our first summer concert with special guest Mike Stone presented by Councilwoman Jessica Mackey at North Springs Park, and that will be June 20th. So we'd like to see all you all out there. That concludes my report. If there are
Thank
no
you so
questions.
much. June 20th, it's right here. So, Mayor Bob, I think you wanted to say something else that we didn't cover yet?
Let me first apologize. I was at a grandchild's dance recital.
All right.
And we're going to add an approval of a placard at Olympia Park. Not to look at what it could say, but this was one that was gonna be part of a trail. And they wanted to have a placard at the park. And the question was, does the commission have to approve that? And I said, yes, I believe you all should approve it. I don't think tonight we have what it would look like, so it might but I think.
Who's they?
Like it.
Historic Columbia.
Gotcha. So then it's gonna be something like a trailhead type thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think you could, when you see it, you could then approve, you know, look at it and make sure it's what you want. I don't think you have to do that tonight, but I do think if you could authorize staff to follow up and, to bring you something in terms of what it looks like. I think the issue is, I think the commission needs to approve any type of placard on,
We don't have to make a motion though, do we? For that?
if you're satisfied with that, briefing, when it's.
I'm just saying, because then we have to amend the agenda and all that, and I don't think, let's just give them,
What's the black? What's the black one?
See it.
it's for the Historical Columbia Foundation to put it.
Oh.
What type placard though?
Is it?
Is it, what type of placard is it? I'm sorry to ask so many
It's on the
questions, but
building?
It's going to be the Historic Foundation got a grant to do a trail. And this would be signifying that the park is historically on the list of the areas that you could review. It would be a normal thing, I think,
Right.
you would do. I just think the question is, you ought to approve it.
Right.
You know,
Charge-
because it is going on to a park and
Well, we can approve it when it comes before us and you guys can research it and then
Right.
bring it to us, right?
you can.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Torch, you can do it. Yeah. We don't make a motion for that. Yeah. All right. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
I make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Did he second it?
Yes.
Can you make, repeat the motion to add what we're going into executive session to discuss?
I make a motion to go in executive session for discussion of contractual matters related to the purchase of the Richland County Wellness Center.
Second.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Christensen,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs,
yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley.
Yes.
Motion approved.
I make a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley.
Yes.
Motion approved.
There was no actions taken in executive session. So with that said,
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Lapine,
yes.
Commissioner Lindsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley.
Yes.
Motion approved, meeting adjourned.